last one I want to talk about is tell the story you're telling yourself. And this, I'm just going to spend a couple minutes on this one. This is a big one because we all have stories that we tell ourselves. And a lot of them, our stories, are based in the stories that were told to us growing up. So I'm going to use the example. If we're in a meeting and I courageously tell you my idea, and let's say somebody says to me, oh, that's a stupid idea, or that's a dumb idea, or that idea is not going to work. We did that before. We need to do completely the opposite. Marion, you're not always going to be able to control that reaction because you know what? Maybe your story is from childhood. That teacher used to say, that's a dumb answer. Why did you come up with that answer? We can't always help when our brain is triggered by those things, when shame begins to start playing out. We have these little shame shields that sometimes we use. But sometimes we'll use the shame shield of moving away. Well, you know what? If I don't really have a relationship with that person and I'm not going to see them on a daily basis, I just might go, you know what? I'm just going to withdraw from this committee. You know, I'm just going to not return emails. Do any of you do that? I'm just going to just disappear. The shame is going on, and that's how I deal with it. But if that person who said that, you know, that's not a good idea, I don't think that'll work, I think that's kind of, that's too far out there. If that person is my boss, and my story is I've always tried to be love growing up, and perfection was my thing, then you know what? I'm going to keep my mouth shut in the meeting, and I'm not going to say anything until I've got it perfect. Until my ideas are well thought out, there's no way somebody's going to tell me it's not a good idea. I'm going to go into perfection mode. And sometimes that's a shame shield. But let me tell you what, for all of you perfectionists out there, shame is attached to your perfection. So we can chat later. Just saying. Or perhaps that person that said that, you just don't care for that person because you know what? They always disrespect people. And it still is that shame trigger because somebody told you whatever they told you back then, and you are relating that same thing. So you're going to fight shame with shame, and you're going to say, yeah, well, I think your idea is stupid. I don't want to have anything to do with that. You're going to should them to death. There's a story that we tell in our mind. I'm going to tell you this last story here. So I have a girlfriend who works for a nonprofit, and she just went through this Brene Brown training that I do, and so she's telling me about her day. She's in this nonprofit working on her gala. She said she's got stuff in the office all over the place, silent auction stuff here, signs here, everything. The boss comes in, and she hears the boss in the conference room slamming things down, saying something like, I can't find anything. And immediately, there's a shame trigger, shame storm that begins in her head. And she's going, oh my gosh, this boss thinks I'm an idiot. This boss thinks I'm completely disorganized. She is just ticked at me. And so she finds herself beginning to slam things down, beginning to get ticked off, beginning to just beat anybody feel that? Right? She walks into the hallway, crosses paths with her boss, and her boss goes, hey, how you doing? Fine. You okay? Yep. You sure you're okay? Then she remembers what she had learned. What's the story I'm telling myself? And she stopped and she said, the story I'm telling myself right now, boss, is that you think I'm disorganized and that I'm not up for this challenge. And the boss said to her, how many years have we been doing this gala together? I know things get crazy around this time. What you heard was me being angry at myself because I wanted to buy one of the roller briefcases that had all these divided things, and I didn't, and I can't find one of the contracts. She made the story about her. We have a story that we tell ourselves. Our brain does not like ambiguity. Our brain wants to finish the story. When you hear somebody say something in your workplace and it triggers something, be curious about it. What is it triggering inside of me? What story am I telling myself? Go to that person, sit down, talk about it. The story I'm telling myself is this. You know how many times we would resolve things so much quicker? But what happens is our thought becomes a belief, and we act on the belief. We begin to disconnect from people because of a story that we are telling ourselves without ever having checked it out.